Welcome back to Tipping Point. I'm your host, Kara McKinney. Kate Cox perhaps wants to be the new Norma McCorvey, also known as Jane Roe, of the infamous Roe v. Wade Supreme Court decision in 1973. Now keep this 31-year-old mother in your prayers that she, like Norma, who never ended up aborting the baby at the center of the Roe case, likewise doesn't abort her child suffering from trisomy 18, also known as Edwards syndrome. This genetic condition means the baby has 3 copies of the 18th chromosome instead of 2, one from mom and one from dad. Cox is being told that her baby likely won't survive long after birth and that complications could make it hard for her to ever get pregnant again. However, now that she is 21 weeks along, an abortion could likewise jeopardize her ability to get pregnant again by causing injury to her uterus. But of course, the pro-abortion side wants this woman, who I'm sure is under severe amounts of stress and is not thinking straight with all the pregnancy hormones raging through her body, to think that this is her only option. That abortion is the magic wand with no side effects that will allow her to wake up from this nightmare she finds herself in. But I will point out, many of these genetic screening tests are flawed, and so the baby may actually be perfectly fine. And even if the baby really does have trisomy 18, no one should ever be killed over a medical diagnosis. I know she thinks she's acting in the best interest of the child, but murder is never in anyone's best interest. I can't believe this even has to be said. We would never say that it's more humane to put the kids at the Make-A-Wish Foundation down like euthanized dogs instead of allowing God to take his course in their lives, hopefully sanctifying them and their families through their struggles until death naturally comes at the hour in which God appoints it. Cox has reportedly since fled the state, and so sadly it seems she will try to obtain the abortion elsewhere now that the Texas State Supreme Court and the Texas State Attorney General have all ruled against allowing her to have an exemption to the state's Heartbeat Act, restricting abortion to the first 6 weeks before the heartbeat can be detected. She also was rejected on the grounds that her life is not immediately in danger, and so her abortion is classified as being elective by Attorney General Ken Paxton's office. Joining us now to discuss is Kelly Lester, the Director of Outreach and Government Engagement of Pro-Life Ministries. Kelly, thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Great. So it seems the woman, Kate Cox, she's fled to a different state to have this abortion. But if you could reach out to her right now and walk her back from that cliff that she's standing on, what would you tell her?
Well, I would tell her that, first off, I would say that I'm sorry that she's even having to make this decision. That it's unfortunate that we are in a time where women have to make the difficult decision of whether to kill their child or not. It wasn't meant to be that way. That was not the way that we as mothers were created, was to have to decide whether or not we were going to kill our child. And so I would first just apologize that she's having to make that choice. And then I would tell her that abortion is never the best choice. That yes, this could be a difficult thing ahead of her. But I have a friend, a very good friend of mine, who has a little boy who's a year old named Jesse. And he is this precious child who is full of love and full of joy and brings hope to people around him. And is it easy? No, it's not easy. But is his life important? Yes, his life is important. And the doctors have no idea how long your baby is going to live. They have no idea the quality of life, but you will have to live with this decision for the rest of your life. And so often people that are faced with the decision of whether to, turn off machines if their loved one is dying, they've had to go back and think, did I make the right decision? And this is a decision that she is going to have to question for the rest of her life. And her baby may live minutes, may live days, may live years. There are situations where people with trisomy have lived to be 40, have lived to be 30. Rick Santorum has a daughter who just turned 14. So there are situations where these babies have lives that are full of joy and full of love. And it's unfortunate that abortion has given women the ability to make that choice that we were never made to make.
And I think that's so important to really stress, like you said, that abortion, it's created this choice that should have never been, and it puts this undue burden on women who are already dealing with pregnancy hormones, are in a very emotional place, and now they're being tasked with life or death. How did we get here? I mean, that's what a lot of people start thinking. And the sad part is the medical experts who have her ear, she's going to be trusting them, I mean, just explicitly on everything.